What's up, everybody? This is 2020 was a B. D. Durrell Spears' first inaugural transition from the Sectors TV. Appreciate you all for coming. I'm talking about real topics. Appreciate everybody from various sectors, whether it's the manosphere, the pro-black sector, the black sector, YouTube sector, the Umar Johnson sector. Appreciate you all for coming in. I'm getting to content that I enjoy doing, that's not necessarily correlating to any specific sector in itself. It's just on this particular channel, I'm going to talk about whatever I want to talk about, when I want to talk about it, and how I want to talk about it. So welcome, guys, to 2020 was a B Media. We're going to talk about a lot of current trending topics, and particularly those topics that are trending that certain people don't want to trend. They don't want them to trend. Shout out to Make a Change. Shout out to Reza Lyricist. What's up, Too Big for Skinny Jeans? What's up, Ray Triggs? Appreciate y'all for coming in. Now, I have watched the saga of Brett Favre over the last few days. And what has propelled me to do this video, to create this video, is that there are people who don't want Brett Favre to get bad press. There are people within this structure, because of who Brett Favre is, he could never do any wrong. Now, I was watching Stephen A. Smith, and he made light of the fact that, and also Shannon Sharp, they made known how they felt about Brett Favre. Now, I'm going to let you all listen to Shannon Sharp and the things that he stated. And also had a brother who played with Brett Favre. So I want you all to hear what Shannon Sharp has to say when it comes to this guy here. This man here, Mr. All-American man. I want you all to clearly listen to what Shannon Sharp had to say. And please, I ask for your perspectives on how you feel about it. This is what Shannon had to say.
Can you imagine if T.O. would have had incidents?
Funds to help build a new volleyball center at the University of Southern Mississippi. Shannon, how much do you think this could tarnish Brett Favre's legacy?
Well, I don't think nothing can tarnish it, because if you go back and look at his history when he played in the NFL, they should have tarnished it already. I talked to people that was in the room when Brett Favre went to the Hall of Fame, and nobody mentioned about text messages that he sent to that jet masseuse. Nobody mentioned anything about the addiction that he suffered from. But yet T.O., they brought up everything. Can you imagine if T.O. would have had incidents like Brett Favre off the field? T.O. still, to this day right now, would not be in the Hall of Fame. Yet they walk right past it like Brett Favre did nothing.
That is true. I give you that.
The problem that I have with this situation, you got to be a sorry mofo to steal from the lowest of the low. Mississippi is the poorest state in our country.
It is.
Its citizens. So if they're the poorest state, Brett Favre is taken from the underserved. You made $100+ million in the NFL. And they're talking about, well, he didn't know. This is what Brett Favre takes. If you were to pay me, is there any way the media can find out where it came from and how much? So if you gotta ask this question, is there any way the media can find out? You already know you're doing something wrong. The mere fact that you don't want anybody to know. So you know you're doing something wrong. And Skip, he wanted to seem so philanthropic. He wanted to change the perception of the narrative. He take money for some damn volleyball arena.
Well, his
daughter plays football. So, you see what Brett Favre did for his alma mater? No, he didn't get no money came out of his pocket. He stole money from people that really needed that money.
Yep.
Man, this is embarrassing. And he's not the only one. Ted DiBiase, a former wrestler, even Marcus Dupree, a great running back at the school that you loved growing up, Oklahoma. He got money. How can you got to be really low to take from the poorest of the poor? Brett, you ain't got enough money? Okay, Skip, listen. You know you're not supposed to have this. But how am I going to give the damn speeches? They're paying you to give speeches, and you didn't even give the speeches. And now you won't even pay the money back. And they fired one of the guys that say he tried to recruit the money. They fired him when he was a Clinton appointee. It was political.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you get the money back? Have nothing to do with politics. The man got and this is what we know. Skip, when black and brown people do fraud the government, they do it. They hell bent. You get an EBT card and you get WIC and you get stuff like that, boy, they move heaven and earth to try to put you in jail for $400 little measly dollars. Fact. Now this man done took $1 million. Somebody got $3 million. Somebody got 400,000. Yeah. And they sitting around like, well, it happened, and we'll see. And they gonna get more money and do it all over again.
And to your point, the Mississippi Department of Human Services had to file a civil lawsuit against Brett Favre because he had not paid back the interest he owed on the $1.1 million that he was fraudulently given for giving no speeches.
Right. And he won't even pay the 1.1 back. He won't even pay the interest on the money.
Right. It's too.
Now let me stop at this point because this is ridiculous. Because I had no idea that this happened until a few days ago. And Mr. All-American Man, the one who threw all them crazy-ass interceptions that people act like he didn't throw, who won only one Super Bowl, one of the most unintelligent quarterbacks, but he just went with his arm, let it die by the arm, gunslinger. They said that it is an estimated $77 million that he was a part of from stealing from the Department of Human Services of Mississippi. $77 million. A former governor of Mississippi was involved in this scheme. But people want to talk about who's taking money and where the money is going and who's bleeding the system. The people who are bleeding are wealthy people. It's not the poor. Because those who are wealthy steal from the government. The wealthy steal from the government. It is not poor people who are stealing from the government. And what was going to happen to Brett? Shannon Sharp thinks nothing. Stephen A. thinks nothing. Other people in the media, they're not even talking about this. You can go to CNN, MSNBC, National News. Nobody's talking about this. But you want to talk about the Ukraine. You want to talk about other little minor topics. But nobody wants to talk about what Brett Favre did, stealing money from the poor so he can have more money. And he bought Farve gave the College of Southern Mississippi $5 million for a goddamn volleyball facility. It is stated in the Mississippi Today that there are text messages that showed that Brett Favre sought after $5 million from a welfare program to build a volleyball stadium for the University of Southern Mississippi, where his daughter played the sport. Favre received most of the credit for raising the money in the Mississippi Today. He didn't raise money, he stole it. But guess what, guys? If this was anybody else, this would be all over the news and you would be indicted. Some people are saying my sound is choppy. Let me check out something right quick. Testing. Testing. Okay, I'm gonna move this back a little bit. I'm gonna move this back. Guys, let me know if you're continuing to hear a choppy sound. Guys, let me know if you're continuing to hear a choppy sound. And I do apologize. But I am reading, and you all can check it out. I am reading an article right now and this is actually from MSNBC, but it also states that Farve and Bryant, Mr. Governor Bryant, former Governor Bryant, have not been charged with a crime, though Farve has been questioned by the FBI. Farve said that he believes he did nothing wrong, and his lawyer told MSNBC that there is nothing remarkable about the news release text. In a statement, Bryant attorney Billy Quinn said the former governor had agreed to produce the text and said cases should be tried in court, not the press. They're approaching it from this manner because they knew that they did wrong. Governor Bryant and Brett Favre have been in cahoots with each other for years. But see, Brett Favre has done a lot of wrong. Pain pill addiction. You want to talk about Deshaun Watson with the masseuse? What about his bullshit with the masseuse? Nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody. Nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody. Nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody. Nobody wants to mention this. Nobody wants to talk about that. Wow, my sound is horrible. It sounds bad. It's very choppy. I don't know if it's the Wi-Fi. I'm trying my best. Give me a second, guys. I'm trying my best. Sewer Red says you got an Obama phone. I'm trying my best. You try. Something's up with the Wi-Fi. Something's up with the Wi-Fi. Something's up with the Wi-Fi. So, Dr. Nikki says, I never liked Brett Favre. Well, I mean, I never really cared for Brett Favre either. This is a person who has had a pain pill addiction that went under the rug. This is a person who participated in the same things that they claim with the massage, with the masseuse, like Deshaun Watson. Nothing was talked about. Also, Brett Favre sent inappropriate photos to a Jets TV host, and he was fined $50K for that. Brett Favre has done a lot of negative things, very unbecoming of a NFL quarterback or professional. Brett Favre has engaged in these behaviors, and he's never been held accountable. Now, I want to let you continue to listen to what these guys at Fox, as far as Shannon Sharpe and others, are stating about Brett Favre and his shenanigans.
$228,000.
I mean, you got to be really low.
Yeah.
You got to be really low. And people and politicians, you got to be really low too. To know that this money is supposed to go to the most underserved, and you take it and give it to people that's made millions or got millions or have the potential to make millions, and you're willing to do that, you're willing to let your people starve, you let your people go underserved. And Brett Favre, you took this money, ain't nothing but Skip. This is what we know.
Yeah.
If people like you, there is nothing you can do to turn them against you.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen this before now. We see what's going on right now. We got people bending themselves, becoming contortionists, trying to explain away what somebody doing with top secret documents at their location. They're bending themselves in pretzel.
Mm.
They're looking like Neo in the Matrix.
Yep.
So nothing Brett Favre can do. But he's been a sleazeball. He's been shady for a very, very long time.
To all of your points, the one thing I'm pretty sure about is Brett Favre will not be seen in any more national TV commercials from this point forward.
Why won't? Skip, they knew about this. He's still in Copper John. He's still throwing.
Thanks. You see, this is a position in which, white folks are going to stay on code. Skip Bayless going to stay on code. Brett Favre has gotten in trouble multiple times with the league, and they gave him a slap on the wrist. Brett Favre has done these terrible acts to the poor residents of Mississippi, which is many. And there's a large percentage of those welfare recipients who are black. Brett Favre has made over $100 million. $100 million in his career. But you're stealing money from the state of Mississippi so that your daughter can have a volleyball stadium. You're stealing money from the state of Mississippi along with Governor Bryant and doing God knows what. And so people want to know where the money is going, where the government is doing with the money. Who is actually benefiting? And you know who's benefiting? The rich. The rich are benefiting. The rich, especially those who claim that they don't believe in socialism, but they believe in corporate welfare. This is an example of corporate welfare, where people can maneuver funds for their own personal gains. Brett Favre decided that he was not going to spend his own money so that his daughter could have a volleyball stadium. Brett Favre lied and said that he was going to engage in speaking events and give speeches, which he never partaked in. This is the American hero, Brett Favre. Back, you want to talk about Deshaun Watson? But he settled out of court with 2 massage therapists back in 2013. He was accused of sending inappropriate, unsolicited sexual text messages to them while he played for the Jets. But he's done this multiple times with women. Yes, Nikki. Yes, he did it. But they won't say anything about Brett Favre. They won't say anything about Brett Favre. But you see this guy here? Do you see this man here? Y'all know his name. Emi Udoka, the coach of the Boston Celtics. That's all you're hearing about right now. It's the fact that he was engaged to Nia Long. He had a sexual relationship with someone that worked there. Now she has went out and filed saying that he violated team rules, and he engaged in behaviors that were not in line with the team. Nobody is talking about Brett Favre. Everybody is talking about Emi Udoka. Everybody. They're talking about Udoka. But nobody is mentioning anything about Brett Favre and his, to me, just heinous crimes against the people who need the money the most. The people who need the money the most. That's who he took it from. People who need the money the most. The people who need the money the most. That's who he's taking the money from. That's who he took the money from. You see, people talk about someone stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. But when are we going to start talking about the fact that the rich stay rich because they steal from the poor? The rich stay rich because they steal from everybody. Yes, that is true. He was on drugs. He did abuse painkillers. And I was just thinking about Ben Roethlisberger because he had multiple situations of sexual assault and potential rape. We're not getting fair and balanced news, and it's not being portrayed appropriately. He should be locked up for years. The governor, Bryant, should also be locked up. Now you have Brett Favre pretending that he don't know anything about anything. Now you have Brett Favre pretending that he didn't do anything wrong. When in all actuality, he knew exactly what he was doing. Because he didn't use his own money. You can check this out on the Mississippi Today. The name, they were skimming from the Nancy New Fund. Evidence of that. These guys have stolen tens of millions of dollars, handouts. And they were helped by the director of the agency, John Davis, of the welfare agency at the time. So he didn't do this by himself. Now, he didn't know the avenues that they engaged in, but he knew that they were doing something illegal. Governor Bryant knew that something was, because y'all had the connections. But this brother here, Emil Duka, had one little situation with one female. It's the biggest news in sports. See, this is an example of white privilege. They would continue to be doing this. They would continue doing this if they were never caught. That's what we got to understand. They were caught. Therefore, they stopped. Nova Real Show says Dr. Umar was on the Pasha channel. He had some good news, some good points on black women. You should do a review of it. At this point, I'm going to have to decline Nova Real Show. I am Umar out. I've done, you know what? I may do an Umar video maybe a month or two from now. But I am Umar Johnson out. And to my former sector, the Umar Johnson sector, and some that have come in to support me, I appreciate you for being here. The only relevancy that Umar has in this sector or in YouTube are behaviors that go in line to opening the school and estimating when the school will open. Anything else is less than lackluster, not worth my opinion, not worth my attention, nor my opinion. But, Nova, I will check the video out just to see what else he has to say as it relates to the relationship between black men and black women. I'm pretty sure Umar had some insightful things to say, as always. But at this point, I want to start this channel and change the name and begin talking about Umar Johnson content that kind of, doesn't take me out of the algorithm. This is the bottom line. Brett Favre and others like Brett Favre are getting away with frauding government agencies. And this is not just happening in Mississippi. It's happening in Texas. It's happening in Georgia. It's happening in Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida. And nothing happens. They get a pat on the back. Stephon Mills Carter says 2020 was a bit. That's right. All this attention is leaving Brett Favre, but this guy gets all the attention. Brett Favre is 100 times more popular than Ime Udoka. So I'm going to follow this and this story to see what is going to happen to Brett Favre with this. My theory is nothing. He's going to get away with this shit. Well, Nikki says I feel the same way about Jay-Z and Kanye West PPP loans. I understand that, but we don't know what businesses that he lost money on to need PPP loans. But it's highly difficult to think you can get away with this stuff when it comes to the federal government critiquing all aspects of your business. When I received the PPP loan, they looked at everything, every financial document that they can get. They looked at it. Yeah, their loans were forgiven. Everyone took a loss. I took a loss. I took a loss. Too Big for Skinny Jeans says, I was about to say how you cheating on Neil Long. Shit, what he did. He cheated on Neil Long with a young chick. He wanted a younger woman. And she is a nice looking woman. But it wasn't worth you getting suspended for a year or more. You just came out of losing. You made it to the NBA Finals. You're a successful black coach. You got your whole world ahead of you. And now you tarnish your team and your legacy and your image by doing this. And the Celtics are still in the running for next year in 2023 to return to the NBA Finals or at least make a deep playoff run. Nova Real Show say she is fine. Hey, she is. She's a nice look. My eyes can see, just like anybody else. She's a nice looking woman. But he has gotten attention out the goddamn woodwork. Go to Facebook and see how many articles are written about him. So let's see what's going to happen next. Let's see what the future is going to hold for Brett Favre. Shannon Sharp think he's going to get away with it and ain't nothing going to happen. In my position, I ain't thinking the same. I'm going to think the same. They're saying he's going to be fired for at least a year. Which, if that's the policy, I mean, we have to go with what the policy is. Now, also, they're saying newly released messages are stating that, however, suggest that a consciousness of guilt on Brett Favre, and they may add to Bryant's potential criminal exposure as well, depending on what other facts come out. The former governor has denied that he was intimately involved in shunting the welfare money to his friends. But one message Favre allegedly received from New suggested there was a plan introduced to name the football facility after Bryant, potentially as a political favor. The relations this week indicate the story around the alleged corruption of Brett Favre. This is ridiculous. But Brett Favre can get away with this and go smile on the camera, and people pretend to forget. But a black athlete or anybody else does this, and then it's you got answers. Notice there's no heat. There's no heat on Brett Favre for what he's doing. There's not a public outcry. But there are families in the state of Mississippi who lack many resources, who are being penalized because of what he has done. And he may continue to do it in different ways. Oh, yeah, and the racist ass Phoenix Suns owner who has to sell his team soon. So this is why when you have people who paint a certain narrative, this is one of the reasons why I don't watch the news as often as I used to. I was an avid listener of Fox News, MSNBC, and CNN. Every night I would tune in to see what all three stations would say. I also would view a lot of CBS and NBC news or ABC news at times. Brett Favre is just not going to be held accountable. But I listen to these stations. I used to listen to these I used to listen to the radio, and I also listen to the saw it on television. This was before I became a daily YouTuber. Before I became a YouTuber, I watched the news a lot. Several radio stations. Also, I would listen and watch on news stations. I would watch news-related radio from the time I wake up in the morning to the time I go to bed. I used to get up watching, listening to the news on satellite radio, the Urban View, with a brother named by the name of Joe Madison, Mark Thompson, or his name is Masamela Mafume. And people are steady giving their money, paying taxes to the state of Mississippi, only for this to happen. And trust me, guys, this is going on in other places. But these recipients of theft will be the first ones to stay. So I just wanted to highlight this and talk about this for a little bit. I want to send a link out. And if anybody wants to come up and chop it up with me, you can on this topic. I don't want to be no more than an hour and a half at the most. So I'm going to send the link out for anyone. Again, guys, warning is that I will not talk about any Umar Johnson sector news, any issues going on. This content on this channel is no longer catering towards that. Is in a different on a different path. Also, guys, look out for my D Durrell dating coach channel, Coach D Durrell Spears TV, that will be coming out in about a week and a half. So I'm sending a link out there. And let's understand, this is all about money. This is all about money. No ifs, ands, or buts. This was not about. This is not about philanthropy. Because Brett Favre is not. This is about philanthropy. You would have gave your own money. If you're diving into that arena, you're giving because you have excess amounts of money, and it shows as good public service, and it helps your image. You don't ask for money from the federal government or the state government and then you ask the government to give you the money instead of it coming out of your own pocket. It's not philanthropy. It's not. This is about money. This is about greed. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this baby up. If nobody's going to come up. Too Big for Skinny Jeans said that he got the complexion for the connection. I think DJ Drama said the same thing. Farve got the complexion for the protection. And I guess we got the complexion for rejection as it relates to that. Again, guys, you can also Cash App Darrell77, donate to the channel. Also, guys, I'd like you to check out my music on D Darrell Reverb Nation. If you'd like to check out and stream my music, or you can check out my music channel, D Darrell. It actually feels good to talk about these kind of topics because I've given these type of topics a rest for a while. When you get so embroiled with the fuckery and all type of other topics, it sounds a little different to talk about different things. And it's been a while for me. Stefan says the complexion for the oppression. Yes. And those very same people gaslight when we complain. So, guys, I want to appreciate you all. Oh, Chaos Rain coming in. Man, you came in at the nick of time, Chaos. What's up, brother?
Oh, let me jump back because there's something to my mic. Let me jump out your back again.
I can hear you. I can hear you good. Okay, well, he came out. I guess he'll come back in. Tiffany Haddish need to sit her butt down somewhere. How is Hollywood blackballing you when you have television shows that were on national TV dealing with children? You were in all type of movies. You were in all type of comedic movies, local television on cable. Tiffany, you had all types of work. You had work all over the place. Nobody's blackballing you. You blackballed yourself because you interacted in a dumb skit with Aries Spears, and now you're in the same position as him. Aries Spears is in such a desperate state, and he even said this himself when he was on Corey Holcomb before he got into that fight and the controversy that happened. He was willing to do almost anything to get back in. You don't know how it feels to be blackballed. This man has not recovered from since what was that? Mad TV. Mad TV hadn't been on television for what, 15, 20 years? That's your fault. Guys, hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Tiffany Haddish, Aries Spears. I mean, Aries Spears will never get back into Hollywood. I don't care how much he tries. I remember watching Aries Spears when I was a teenager, 30 years ago. And he has failed from grace big time. So, my boy Chaos Rain left. I don't think he's coming back. He has issues with his mic. Tiffany Haddish said also they said they took everything she worked for. No, nobody took anything that you worked for. You want to live the lifestyle. You thought that you was going to be hot forever? If you would have stayed your butt off of off of social media and not engaged in some of the dumb stuff that you were doing, you'd still be there. You didn't know how to act when you were going certain places, acting like a fan instead of a celebrity. You talked a lot, so nobody want to be around you. So that's on you. That is on you. But guys, I do appreciate you all for coming in. This is D. Darrell Spears, where 2020 was a bitch. Media. Hope y'all enjoyed the video today. I will be doing other topics, current topics, random topics, maybe about 2 to 3 times a week. Also, guys, check out my D. Darrell Life Solutions channel and look out for Coach D. Darrell Spears Media. Peace.